Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. So, I figured I'd do a therapy session, and I guess my motivation for doing the therapy session could speak to my mental state. And you guys, this is not a serious or a bad thing this time. Not one of those very serious topics by any stretch of the imagination, but I think you'll get where I'm coming from right here. So, I'm looking for content, particularly in my videos, looking for a specific video where I was talking about AMC, blah, 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 blah. And I just wanted to listen to the particular rant, whatever it was, and I couldn't find it. I'm searching through my videos. And so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, I want to listen to something. I can't find a particular video. Why don't I just create something to listen to? Like, make a video now, say whatever the hell, and then you'll have something new to listen to. So that's literally what I'm doing. That is exactly what this is. Um, you know, and that's, I guess, speaks to my mindset because it's more or less a metaphor for how I've been handling a lot of what I've been doing lately. It's just like, as of late, it's just been about, in my own world, just creating whatever isn't there. Like, it's just more so about creation. My art, it's not about what it used to be for me. A lot of my free time would be playing video games or, wasting my time doing things that weren't creative, I guess you can say. And now I'm looking for new ways to be creative. I'm finding new ways to apply some of my artistic concepts that I use in drawing and things of that nature. I'm trying to find new ways of applying that logic. It's like, okay, my creative juices are flowing, so instead of looking around for somebody else to create some content for me to listen to, or looking for old content, I figured I'd just come over here and just literally come up with some. So yeah, today has been a pretty good day, all things considered. Obviously, if you followed my last video of you, particularly my last therapy session video, you understand that this is my mother's passing anniversary, 7-year passing anniversary. And in the video I said that it was that particular day, but actually I was a day behind, to be honest with you. It's actually today. So I didn't really do too much in regards to reflecting on her or thinking about the day it happened or anything like that. I said my prayers and I just worked the day out like a regular day. Did my workouts, did my art, did my videos, you know, messed around with AMC content, trying to learn what I can learn about yesterday's halt and various different things that are going on with my investment. And it's weird, man. It's like, for me and how my life and brain works, when I get into the spirit of something, it just happens. It'll be a random day in October where I'll really be reflecting and mourning upon my mother and her passing or something like that. It won't actually be the anniversary day. The anniversary day is just some regular day that comes around, and if I find myself aligned with that mood on that day, then I'll be deep into it. But otherwise, it's just a day that otherwise forces me to reflect on whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? Like, I guess it's because I'm alone and because I am a creative, to where I really don't align with certain things that may make sense to others. Like, for example, you come to my house around Christmas time, you're not gonna see any Christmas decorations. That doesn't mean I don't celebrate Christmas. It just means that I literally don't need decorations in my house to reflect and to feel the spirit of Christmas for myself. I think a lot of that stuff is conditioning. You know what I mean? And symbolism and a lot of those things, they do matter. But in my mind, only to a point. Only to a point is to say that I'm trying to partake in the traditions that others are partaking in, or partake in something that others would otherwise acknowledge as well. And I kind of look at my mother's anniversary date and birthdays and holidays through that lens these days. Not, I haven't always, but just in this particular era of my life, I kind of look at it that way. It's just, I'm by myself, so it's really on my own terms that I deal with these different things, or that I acknowledge these different things, or celebrate these different things. And if not for the calendar telling me that I should, well, organically I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Not particularly, not on this day. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I guess that speaks to my lack of emotion. Maybe I'm kind of dead inside, I guess, as it pertains to certain things. But I don't think it's that either. I just don't think that I'm wired to really feel attached to these different things as it pertains to when I am supposed to. I guess is what I'm on my own clock as it pertains to these different things. And since there's no one here to influence me otherwise, I just move as I do. And I'm comfortable that way, So I acknowledge my mother's passing today in my own way. As I have all month, I've been acknowledging in prayer, and reflecting in prayer. And there's been certain days throughout this month that felt more so like today should have felt. You know what I'm saying? But now that this is the day, it's like, nah. On the 30th of March, this day, I just kind of felt like regular. But maybe on the 15th, I really reflected, and really had just a poised day to really, really feel what I had to feel. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. The calendar doesn't dictate these things for me. Period. This is what it is. But with that being said, this is that day. So, it is something to be said for acknowledging it. And I think as far as the post, social media and all that, I really thought about it this morning. I went through the whole thing. Like, now if I do post something on Instagram and Facebook about my mother, maybe a couple pictures saying things, I'll definitely be given the attention that you get when a day like this comes around. But since I'm not actually authentically feeling down, right, to grasp for that energy, like it's not real. It's me I don't really need it from others. If anything, I think it would make me feel down if people start, coming around saying, oh, my condolences, oh, rest in heaven and all of that good stuff. Like, yeah, that makes it now it's concentrated. Now it becomes something that I'm not necessarily just acknowledging, but now it has to come to me, and then the emotions may flow from there, and it'll turn a good day otherwise into not so good one. You see what I'm saying? I don't think a whole lot of good comes my way as I perceive it for posting. And then it goes to the point where you say, okay, ethically, am I being disrespectful? Am I denying others an opportunity to acknowledge my mother? Am I denying others an opportunity to, no, that's not it. Am I denying my mother an opportunity to receive the love that she deserves? But then I say to myself, well, then that would be a question of whether or not I believe she could receive it. You know what I mean? And that takes me down another rabbit hole that I couldn't figure out in that moment. I wasn't going to come to no real conclusion on that one. So at the end of the day, I just said, you know what? I don't feel like posting today. And I think the best thing to do is to be real, because what I didn't want to do is feel like I was posting to receive attention. I won't project that on others. You know what I mean? That's my own insecurities, but I didn't want to feel as if others thought I was posting for attention. Do you understand what I'm saying? Though I don't know that that's a natural thought for most people. Probably isn't. But I perceive that to be a negative. It's like, nah, this is, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't even want it. If anything, I just want to just have this day come and go, honestly. And so that's what it was. I just did not post. I know it's probably looked at as this dude don't care. This dude ain't. No, I thought deeply about it. But it just wasn't something I wanted to do. And because I didn't want to do it, I didn't think it was done in the right energy, you know? When you don't want to do something, but you feel you should, and then you put it out there, you're just asking for the wrong things, you know? That's not authentic energy. What I wanted to do was turn on this camera and do this. You see what I'm saying? This is authentic. This is what I actually want to do. For reasons on my own, right? And it's like, I think this is a better way to do it. You know? This is how I truly felt on the 30th. You understand what I'm saying? And when you find that peace within yourself to kind of go as you flow, not as the calendar tells you to, or as you feel others should, or perceiving others may think something that isn't necessarily true, but it doesn't matter because it's how you perceive it. Going through all the motions, that whole process, you just realize that, nah, if the people who wish you well in regards to your bereavement truly wish you well, the only thing they'll wish of you is that you'll be at peace on this day. And that's what came to me as I was sitting there going through the motions of trying to figure this out. It's like, nah, if they really got your back, all they're going to tell you to do is handle this the way you want to handle it. And you know what my mother would do? That very thing. Handle it the way you want to handle it. That's exactly how she used to handle just about everything. When you stressing something, you overthinking something, especially something of this nature, you do what's on your heart. You know, there were times when my mother's birthday would come around and we would go out for dinner and stuff like that. And a lot of times I wasn't working. I was going through the motions as I always did, sitting in my little isolated corner as always, not being productive, being confused about why that was and everything. And I wouldn't have a lot of money to buy, you know, whatever it was that I would want to buy. Anything. Never had it. So what I would do is make like real stuff, playlists, like I do now, you know. Follow me on Apple Music, BDF. But, you know, I make playlists for her. That's how I got started on doing so. Instead of buying stuff, because I ain't never had no damn money, I would make things. I remember one time I did, I think I made like a card, some type of card, like a handmade card. I think I did. It would usually be like music mostly though. It was music. Like every year I would make special playlists and stuff like that for her to listen to. You know, and she would be more receptive to those things. I guess is what I'm trying to get around to saying. She would be more receptive to those things, and it seemed like she would appreciate those things more so than she would appreciate stuff that I did buy when I did have money to buy stuff. Like she loved the presents, don't get it twisted. She loved everything, but like she would be more kind of into the stuff that I would do organically. You know what I mean? Creatively, but more so just as I wanted to do it. Money or no money, it was like the stuff that you put the effort into, the stuff that you really poured yourself into was the stuff that she really received the most. And she instilled that into me as a concept, not only as it pertains to gifts, but as it pertains to art. When you do it with, you know, music, when you do it with your soul, you know, she used to tell me when you were writing music, if you can write things that touch people's heart, you're gonna always have them. You know, they'll always be timeless, even if the music doesn't necessarily sell right away, it'll last forever if the words touch people's hearts. Like these are concepts she put into me that made me believe that being authentic and being organic and being real is ultimately the way to go, about this channel, really, and how I handle everything. You know what I mean? And that is why I am the way I am and made the choices that I have, It's because of that. It's because of that understanding that money doesn't necessarily provide authenticity and substance, and quality. Though money doesn't necessarily mean the absence of. But there's something about doing stuff when there ain't no money involved. There's something about doing something when it's no structure as it pertains to monetary gain. And when you can just put yourself out there and do what's absolutely in you, organically and true from your heart, it hits different, That's what it was that was instilled in me. So as I go forward, it's like, and I reflect on my mother and I reflect on everything, I don't want to post. And if I do post, it'll be something organic. It wouldn't be something that I didn't want to do. Just so people could say, oh, prayer hands. I didn't want that. I didn't want that. So that's all I wanted to say about that particular thing. I think if anything, man, you look around and you appreciate that 7 years has passed since that day, and you look back on how everything went. And y'all can watch some of my old therapy session videos. I'm pretty sure I've documented all of that. But it was a heavy time for me, not only as it pertains to my mother passing, but I also had a lot going on as it pertains to my living situation, and my grandparents were in town at the time, and for me that was a big deal as well, for separate reasons outside of my mother's health, outside of everything else. That was a big deal. So dealing with that, it was just so many different things. And then I remember just turning around and going straight to work, you know what I mean? Right after, it had to be about 2-3 weeks after the funeral, I was right back on the grind, no problem. I went to Vegas right after the funeral, like literally the next day. Went out there with some friends, had a good time. You know what I mean? Got my mind off of things best as possible. It was just a lot of peace and stillness in the presence of a true hurricane in life. That's what 7 years ago was for me. 2016, by far the worst year of my life. Not even close. Nothing comes close to that. But last year was the second worst, I think. But 16, that was the one where it was just like, all right, yeah, the stuff that's going on here, I'm gonna have to deal with forever. Like, that's what 16 was for me. So looking back on it, though, I honestly think I've handled that about as well as I've handled any situation in my life. I handled that much better than I handled what just took place this past year. I'll tell you that. And I'll say I think it was because I had more support then. I can tell you back in 2016, I had a lot of close friends that were very much in my life, and I was out and about getting sunshine every day, doing normal stuff. I've made life harder for myself with AMC and with the choices I've made to try to hold my shares and everything. It's much tougher for me internally than 16 was. But the thing about 16 was you didn't have time to internalize. You were dealing with so much real stuff, and you had so many different people tugging at you to be present. Rightfully so. Hats that I needed to wear, but nevertheless I needed to be everywhere. And I needed to handle my own business, and I needed to be working. And mind you, this had been a marathon of going through my mother's health issues and crisis that it lasted a span of 7 years. So with her passing away, it was like the end of that. You know what I mean? And that in and of itself was very strange to absorb, you know, to have seen her to see her fight that fight and then ultimately succumb to it, and feeling guilty because you're at peace about it. You know what I mean? It was really strange, and the peace only came from watching her suffer, as we discussed in the previous video. But that's what it was. It was just peace, man. Very, very strange and eerie peace that I can only describe as prayers that had ultimately been prayed on my behalf long before that moment, that kind of came to meet me and carry me through that process. That's the best way I know how to describe that. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's my way of dealing with it, man. That's my way of dealing with it. Talk about it a little bit, leave it alone. But, you know, I had a wonderful mother. I feel like I should be sitting up here telling you how great my mom was. I think I can make several videos on that with ease, but I think at the end of the day, if I can say the best thing about my mom was, she provided a sense of happiness in the presence of great turmoil and struggle and confusion. There was a lot going on that she made look really, really, really easy. And a lot of what that was wrong was her son, me. I don't think she had a whole lot of problems outside of me, to be honest with you. Granted, she had dealt with a lot of things and it overcome a lot of it. But the majority of the issues was trying to figure out how the heck to deal with this son of hers, who was like me, how I am, you know? And we went through so much struggle just inside the house trying to figure things out. And, you know, I think what brought us together was that we had common interests. Even though we were different people, we liked some of the same things. So, like music, we could listen to the same music. Majority of the time, we were cool that way. Movies, we would always go to movies. We'd always like the same movies. We didn't have no problem in the movie issues. No TV shows, we could basically watch the same stuff. So it wasn't no problem having TVs and stuff like that. So, you know, that made it easy. Food and stuff like that, no problems. Lakers is what really brought us together, though. I think we did a lot of stuff, went to different amusement parks, concerts. She kept me well-rounded, going to Christmas parties for her, you know, ritzy business partners and all that stuff, going to Liberace's mansion and Marvin Gaye's house and all kinds of different stuff. And that was the beautiful thing about my mom. She was very much a part of that Hollywood crowd in the 70s. So by the time I got here, she had stories to tell and people she knew and connections and stuff like that. People that she could reach out and would be able to reach others, like famous people and stuff like that. There was a lot of cool stuff about my mom that, you know, I can reflect upon and just be proud of. And I think at the end of the day, you know, she fought because she didn't want to leave her son, you know, who she felt was going to struggle greatly without her. And, you know, I think she did the best she could, and I think it worked out. All things considered, I'm good, even though I'm not so good most of the time. At the end of the day, I've lasted this long, so she did her part. I think I can definitely salute her on that one for sure. So, you know, it's a good day. All in all, you know, you think about your loved ones, and you also think about the people who are going through that now. You know, and it's just like, it's as sad and as cold as I come off. I definitely can honestly say that I do not envy anybody who's going through that. I don't want to return back to where I was 7 years ago. You know, and I'm praying for the bereaved, as I call it. You know, people who are going through that same thing. It's like, yo, I feel you. I hate hearing anybody lost anybody of any kind, you know? It could be your cat. I hate hearing about it because I know how that feels to some degree. When you close and you attach to somebody and they go home, it's like, wow, you know? Whether it's abrupt or not, it's very, very difficult for your world to understand that and wrap your mind around that, get used to that, and then the extended time after they've passed. You know, it's like, God, 2 years later, you're still on a long path that they're not a part of. And that is so foreign to you. You know what I mean? While everybody else has moved on with their life, you're still walking down that path. Like, but they were just here. You know what I mean? It's like that for you. You know, but they were just here. You find yourself almost for eternity saying that for the rest of your life. But she was just here. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But, you know, nobody's here forever. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, I often think about if I were given an opportunity to live forever, would I take it? I don't think so. I don't think so, because I do want an opportunity to see my loved ones, my mother again. You know what I mean? I think if I were given a mission, like if I were given a mission, if God came down here to say, look, you're stuck here, man. You got to be here forever, so make the best of it. I don't think I would be the type of spirit that would scream and holler and say, no, 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 no. Because I think there's a lot of good to do alive. You know what I mean? So if you're given eternal life, it's a lot of suffering, but there are a lot of beautiful things to experience on this cursed planet. But what I will say is this. The one thing that allows me to be at peace with my mother's passing, besides the fact that it's just, you know, it's behind us and we've dealt with it, is the fact that I do get to see her again. Is the fact that I do believe that there are ways to feel her energy or feel her presence or dream of her or what have you while I'm alive. You know, there's been times where I've felt a chill on my back or, you know, goosebumps on only certain portions of my head. Weird stuff like that, where I'll know that would be the same spot that she would kiss my head. Or things like that, where I'll hear her voice as I'm in a car accident and the car is flipping. And I'll hear her say, hold on, baby. As I remember, she used to put her hand over my waist when we'd be in the car. And the brake would be hit too hard or something like that. Even though she knew she couldn't stop anything from happening, it would be that protective energy automatically, you know what I mean? Her instincts that would prompt her to do that. And that's kind of what I felt in that moment. You know, I said all that to say, though she's not present, I do still feel her. Not 24/7, but there are key moments, particularly when I really do need her, where I do feel her. And so it doesn't feel like an emptiness that I know a lot of people feel in those circumstances. So, prayers out to you guys. Obviously, I love Mom, so I think of her. Prayers out to everybody who knows her. I'm sure there's some people who may watch this who may be familiar with her in any way. You know, so that's pretty much it. Barbara Deloney, that was my mother. Great person. You know, that's what I can say. Great person. Brilliant energy, bright smile. Loved the color yellow. Loved the Lakers. Know that. So, yeah, man, she loved her family and she loved God for sure, you know. And I'll leave you with what she used to tell me. Walk with God. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.